Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to completely reframe how you understand literally the most powerful, foundational, and emotional technology in human history. Usually when we think about money, we're stressing over paying the bills, or saving up for something special, or, let's be honest, just wishing we had a little bit more of it, right? But today we are zooming way out. We're going to explore the story of money not as some boring math or plumbing, but as a magic tool. An idea so profound that it literally shaped the evolution of our entire species.
So, let's dive right into this with a simple thought experiment. If millions in cash suddenly rained down on your street right now, would you slip a tenner, or maybe a whole stack of them, into your pocket before telling the authorities? Chances are, most of us would probably trouser a few notes. It's just human nature, isn't it? We intuitively know, deep down, that money equals freedom, control, and survival.
Section 1. The Weapon of Money. And Adolf Hitler was banking on that exact, completely predictable human instinct during the absolute height of the Second World War. Look at this staggering number. Over 132 million pounds in 1942, Hitler actually hatched a top-secret plan to forge this massive amount of British currency. He gathered up a desperate cohort of traumatized printers, engravers, and code breakers in the Sachsenhausen concentration camp and tasked them with literally breaking the Bank of England. The whole plan was to use the Luftwaffe to just airdrop this cash over Britain. Hitler knew for a fact the British public would likely stuff the forged notes under their mattresses, bringing massive amounts of counterfeit money into circulation. In a wartime economy where goods are already scarce, this crazy cascade of cash would trigger hyperinflation, sending prices skyward and sparking absolute chaos. He basically wanted a fire in a crowded theater moment to destroy the wartime economy from the inside out.
And honestly, this reveals a terrifying truth, understood by both Hitler and his ideological rival Vladimir Lenin. Lenin actually admitted that to destroy the old Russian state, his treasury was issuing hundreds of thousands of ruble notes daily to purposefully destroy the value of money. So the absolutely crucial point here is that both of these demonic observers of human psychology realize something profound. If you want to completely undermine the very fabric of society, you just have to mess with its money. Money can be far more powerful than religion, ideology, or even armies.
Section 2. The Great Illusion. And here we confront a massive blind spot that most modern economists have when they analyze our world.
Notice the contrast here. Economists typically treat money like plumbing, They track how it flows through the pipes of the economy, closely monitoring interest rates and circulation. But they completely miss the real story. It's like understanding the plumbing doesn't explain why water is essential for life in the first place. The true human view is that money is a highly emotional, mind-altering substance. It's transgressive, it's sexy, it's dangerous. It doesn't actually impose morals. It simply amplifies our deepest human urges, whether those are, noble pursuits for equality or our absolute darkest desires for greed and domination.
So what this all means is that money is essentially a shared illusion. David McWilliams, the author of our source text, who actually started his career at a central bank, describes it like a tabernacle, where money is magicked out of thin air by central bank priests. They literally take completely worthless paper and turn it into immense value. As miracles go, that is a pretty impressive one. But it is entirely sustained by human trust. Much like faith, money is purely a product of the human imagination. If we just stop believing in it, the whole system evaporates. Poof!
Section 3. The Fifth Element. To truly understand our history, we absolutely have to stop thinking of money as just economics and start viewing it as a foundational human technology.
Think about language for a second. The more people who speak a language, the more useful it becomes, right? Money operates the exact same way. It's this massive crowd phenomenon. In fact, it has shaped us so deeply that McWilliams coined a brilliant new term for humanity, the plutophyte. Just as anthropologists call early humans a pyrophyte species because our development was fundamentally shaped by mastering fire, over the last 5,000 years, we have totally evolved into plutophytes. We're a species completely intertwined with, adapted to, and adapted by money. It's a completely paradigm-shifting way to look at ourselves, honestly.
In Greek mythology, humans were shaped by 4 ancient elements: earth, wind, fire, and water. Fire was the Promethean force of the ancient world that allowed us to conquer nature. But around 5,000 years ago, we invented a 5th element. If fire built the ancient world, well, money is the Promethean fire of the modern world. It's the core tool that allowed our clever ape ancestors to shape the incredibly complex, interconnected globe we live on today.
Section 4. Born to Trade. Now, to see exactly where this extraordinary relationship began, let's jump way back to roughly 18,000 BCE. We're on the banks of the Congo River in Central Africa, a region that has acted as a trading superhighway for millennia. And here, archaeologists discovered something incredibly fascinating. It's a simple artifact known as the Ishango Bone. Could this actually be the world's first rudimentary ledger? Kind of like a Stone Age blockchain, if you will? This artifact is a baboon femur marked with very distinct notches. And while archaeologists still debate its exact purpose, a lot of people speculate that each notch represents an amount owed by someone to someone else. It's very likely an ancient tally stick for credits and debits. Just think about that for a second. Valuing something is a highly sophisticated, abstract mental exercise. This bone likely represents the very first known physical recording of abstract human value and trade right there in the Stone Age. That is mind-blowing.
And this totally flips our traditional understanding of money right on its head. I mean, we all know the old saying that money is the root of all evil. But as humanity settled down and agriculture really started to develop, money actually became a social technology for peace. It provided a desperately needed alternative to war. Think about it. When you can negotiate prices and trade goods, ideas, and innovations with complete strangers from entirely different tribes, why on earth would you bother trying to kill them for their property? Trade literally allowed for peaceful coexistence.
Notice how this abstract technology just rapidly spread across the Mediterranean, the Fertile Crescent, and beyond. And here is the truly fascinating correlation that author Michael Lewis points out: wherever financial innovation was present, massive leaps in art, science, and civilization immediately followed. It's like every great art boom, every major expansion of ideas, seems to have been triggered by people figuring out new ways to trust each other with value.
When you look back at human history, from the brilliant explosion of the Renaissance in Florence, driven largely by the innovations of the Medici banking family, all the way to the ideals of the American Revolution, which was funded in part by early colonial scrip, all of our progress has been quietly underpinned and animated by this invisible, magical tool. The story of money truly is the story of humanity itself. But of course, the story isn't over. As Michael Lewis notes in his foreword to McWilliams' incredible book, the entire history of money is fundamentally a history of trust. It survives no matter how badly it is abused by empires, states, or even individuals. And today, with the incredibly disruptive rise of cryptocurrencies born out of a profound mistrust of traditional banks and governments, we are entering a brand new era. We're essentially entering a war for the right to be trusted.
So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought to really consider today. If money isn't just plumbing, but rather the core fifth element, the Promethean fire that literally shapes the future of humanity, who do you trust to control it next? Private entities or the organs of the state? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep questioning that little shared illusion sitting right there in your own pocket.